uploading on mine. Does that matter? Okay.
It's yeah. It's you can talk and it's still connecting
I
to
love all
us.
this, backstage patter going on. Isn't that the way it goes these days? Anyway, hello everybody. Welcome to the live broadcast. And if you were concerned that maybe this was taped, you now know, if you got on, that we are indeed live, and this is a first for us. So it is our first ever and hopefully annual 100th episode live. I'm super excited today for our award ceremony. I got really excited by the Olympics this year, and so we are going to have, instead of trophies like the Oscars, we are having these gold. We have a gold medal for first place. We have a silver medal. I was like, what comes in second? Silver medal for second place, and a bronze medal for third for the best tips of the first 100 episodes. There's going to be some major calculations going on with your votes. It will all be live. Our folks do not know. We had a very, just in case you're concerned, we had a very high end nomination process where a panel that listened to all the episodes and chose 10 of their favorite tips. As you know, in our podcast, Stepping Into Your Leadership, we like to do lots of stories of good things and things that went wrong in our careers and in leadership, but also some tips on the ways that can help you in your workplace and in your life. And so what we're looking at today is I've invited those 10 finalists. They couldn't all make it, but we have a lot of them here today, and I'm super excited, and we're going to go through those tips. And if you want to go back to those episodes and learn more from those people, they're here. And then at the end, we're going to see who you voted for. So if you like somebody's tip and you're listening to us on LinkedIn Live or on our YouTube channel or here on Riverside, you hopefully can vote in the chat box. And our producers, Richard Francisco and Tatiana Dominguez, will keep track of your votes, and we'll see who the winner is towards the end, hopefully. Okay, now we'll see. Maybe we can get some folks. Tatiana, can we see the chat and see if people are out there? If you're out there in one of those formats, please let us know so that we can, because this is our first time, so we're giving it a go here. All right. But just as a little background, we first started, our first episode aired October 3rd, 2023. And we had big hopes for it, but we had no idea that we'd be here. We're going strong. We're way past 100 episodes. All the nominations happened between October 3rd of 2023 and June 25th of 2025. So if you were on Stepping Into Your Leadership after June 25th of 2025, you are not eligible for this first round. You'll be eligible for next year's award ceremony. So anyway, I want to give a little shout out to some folks who are in here, but I don't know how to. So we have in the studio right now so far Tom Armstrong, Greg Shammy, Blanca Wingfield, Tatiana Dominguez, Bill Bombreast, Erica Petrelli By, and Joe McFeeder. We have a few other folks that might be joining us as they can get to their phones or their computers or wherever they are. Okay. I'm feeling like I'm completely alone here, even though I know there's a bunch of you here. So I hope we're still there. I also, Tatiana, everybody's here. Are we able to see anybody live?
Yes,
Any of those other faces?
yes, yes, people are chatting. So Berna is
Yeah.
here in the audience. Um, I-
Yay.
I'm in LinkedIn, even though it's saying that I'm not. Uh,
Okay.
or it doesn't show that anyone is there, but we do have a couple of people. Yindi is here too, so hi Yindi.
Okay,
Uh,
awesome. Yindi is a former guest as well, and we will talk about. We have some other yay, and I just saw her note come up. I have some awards in the meantime, but I want you guys to think about who you also think has been the host the most, co-hosting with me or as a guest. I guess we'll say the biggest guest on more times than anybody else in the first 100 episodes. Do not check your phones, people. I'm going to ask the people in our audience here in our studio to guess who they think it is. Greg Shammy, do you have a guess who you think it might be? Can I bring him in or no?
yes, yes, yes. Sorry.
Hey, Jenny. Jenny Greenman's here. Good morning, Jenny. All right. Greg, any guesses on who you think was the guest that was on the most? You can also include yourself if you want.
I definitely was on a lot.
Okay.
So I think I don't think I was the most though. I'm gonna go with Erica.
Okay. Tom, what about you? Any guesses for you? How do they get on, Tati?
I have to find them and then bring
Oh
them up
God, I'm
stage.
really making her work.
But can
Okay,
you guys
well,
chat that behind the scenes?
search
Yeah,
for.
I was gonna put it in the chat. Oh, there's Tom.
there's
Oh, yeah, we
Tom.
can
Hey
put it in the
Tom,
chat.
any guesses
Hey,
that
everybody.
you have?
You know, I was also thinking probably Petrelli.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Erica, any guesses for you? I'm making Tatiana work very hard.
Oh my gosh. Richie, do you mind?
Hey, Erica, who do you guess?
Well, I was gonna say Tom or Greg, obviously.
Well, the answer, the first award winner, and Erica, you win this great pen because I know how much you like office supplies, and it has
Amazing.
all different colors on it. Okay,
Oh,
whoever
amazing.
gave this to me for Christmas, don't judge.
Probably me. No.
Anyway, Erica, you were on the most with over 23 times as a guest
Oh my
on
God.
the first
Wow.
100 episodes. That's almost a quarter of the time. So anyway,
I'll take
congratulations. Yeah,
Thank
this is like our Best Supporting Actress Award. We're giving it right away at the top of the show. Okay, just to keep people interested. All right, we're going to go to our first finalist, just like in the Oscars where they give you a little bit of the movie or whatever. We're going to now let you know the first finalist tip, and then we're going to ask them some questions about it. So this tip comes from none other than the Tom Armstrong, who's right there on screen, with what we call the spotter metaphor, right? And this good management is like spotting someone at the gym. You don't lift the weight for them. That robs them of the muscle growth. And you don't let it crush them because that causes injury. So you keep your fingers, 2 featherweight fingers, as Tom says, just lightly under that bar to give them the confidence to lift it themselves. That comes from episode 21 in the Art of People Management. Tom, congratulations on being a finalist. All right. Any thoughts that you can add or expound on that so that people just run to listen to that episode?
You summed it up really well, Christine. Thank you. And it's quite an honor to be here. Thank you very much. Yeah, basically, it's exactly what you said. I just was reflecting one day on being in high school in the gym, and you're always trying. It was always important to have enough weight when you're trying to build muscle mass or strength that it's very uncomfortable, and maybe you're not even able to fully lift that final set. So you need a spotter behind you because you're kind of like this, right? Lifting up. You need a spotter behind you with their fingers just not even touching the bar. But as soon as that bar starts coming down because you can't do it, they don't grab it and pull it up. That metaphor for me that's a good metaphor for micromanaging. But because they're doing the job for you at that point, right? But they come in, they put just enough support so that you're still struggling, because then the next time, once you get it up to the top, the next time when you try, you might be able to lift it on your own. So it's really important for the manager to be that effective spotter, to make sure they're watching and the weight's not coming down to crush you, but also not grabbing and doing the work for you. Also, one thing I remember, and I still get kind of like, I'm surprised that it works so well, but having that spotter standing there saying, they're saying, you got this. Come on, Armstrong, you're going to make it, push. That is so important. And for some reason, it actually can really get more out of you. So also having that encouragement from the spotter while you're struggling is really important. So it's funny. Yeah, the zone of proximal development, as Greg says.
It's not a podcast if Greg Shammy doesn't get his zone of proximal development. I think it's the only thing he learned in his master's program.
CPT. So I think that encouragement part is essential as well for the spotter to be doing both of those. So the irony is, I tend to stay away from metaphors, and I want to give it people advice that they can like do tomorrow, and that's more of a sort of theoretical thing in a way. But that's the one that was selected, so I'm excited about it. I like that one
Yeah.
because it takes
All
me back to
right.
my high school days. That's it.
Yes, and don't if you want to vote for Tom, you can hold off till the end, but you're going to want to put your votes in there. You can just say Tom or say his name. That'll help us because everybody only has one. And I just want to give a shout out to Jenny Greenman who did her guesses. Now that I can see the chat, her guesses were for the most podcasts either Erica or Blanca, who's also pretty high up. And I just want to give you a shout out, Tom, because you were a guest over 19 times. So
Really?
again,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah, because we did those ones where there were a
Oh,
couple of
that's
you
true.
on this summer. So anyway, thank you for being such an important voice in the
Thank you,
first
Christine.
100 episodes. Okay. Now the second one, maybe Tatiana, we can get Tom off of there now and put up some other folks. We're going to give Vince Waldani had the second was the second finalist, and I just want to talk a little bit about Vince. And Bill knows Vince actually. Bill, let's pull up Bill Blombrest because he knows Vince well, and we'll represent him. And if Vince happens to win, Bill, you might have to accept on his behalf.
I got it. No problem. Be my pleasure.
This is
I
Bill
love Vince.
Bombrest of Bombrest Advisory here with us, who is also a finalist, but we'll get to his a little bit later. But so he knows Vince like I do, and Vince is of the CEO and founder of Econify, and he said he dropped this wisdom when we talked about AI and tech. It's so simple but true. Your day-to-day happiness isn't determined by the tasks you do. It's determined by the person leading you. If you have a great boss, they will advocate for you and teach you. If you have a bad boss, even a dream job becomes a nightmare. That was episode, I don't know, like maybe 18 or something, but it was February 26th, 2025. If you want to hear a little bit about a guy who was on, he told a great story about a great boss that he had at Apple, but he also worked for Steve Jobs. So he knows from where he speaks, about what bosses could be like and some pretty powerful folks. So if you want to go back and listen to that episode, I highly recommend it. Any thoughts, Bill, on that one?
Yeah, I mean, I like Vince, have been the recipient of great mentorship over the years, and it's been the most meaningful part of my working life. And so I know exactly what Vince is talking about, and I think there's a lot of value for all of us in remembering that leadership is about making the people around us better. But first in our presence and then into our absence. And that's what Vince is talking about. It's like actually investing in the people around you and remembering a difference to make. You can make a big difference. And so
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that Vince's idea got all the award of all the fanfare that it's gotten, and I'm a little jealous because I want my idea to win. But I'm very jealous of Tom and Erica and the rest of and Blanca, who have been on so many times because I was only on once.
Well, Bill, you're who knows? There's the second to the next 100. You might be able to get on more.
I hope I represented Vince well.
You did. I'm sure he'll love it. Okay. Now, thank you, Bill. We'll be back with more Bill in a little bit. But if you want to vote for don't pick the job, pick the boss, you're going to vote for Vince. Okay. That's right. Tom, Bill was on 1%, but he still made it to the finals. You are correct. What does that say about the rest of you? Okay. We're going to invite, we got somebody else who is someone who's been on a ton of times, 10, 11, 13 times to be exact, if my rudimentary hashtag calculations are correct. And that is Miss Blanca Wingfield. Blanca, come on down.
Hello, hello.
Hello, welcome. Blanca, I am very excited to say that you are our third finalist today. 13 times you have dropped a lot of gems of wisdom for everybody. Many, many topics from, well, there were a lot of topics that you talked about. You talked about imposter syndrome. We
hmm
talked about mentorship. We talked about networking. Lots of things if you want to look up Blanca Wingfield's episodes, but I'm specifically, you got the panel awarded you a finalist based on, like Tom and his spotter metaphor, you had a metaphor of, and I still remember it, the double Dutch. Okay, so this is the perfect visual for networking. You know, when you're at a party trying to break into a circle of people talking, Blanca calls it the double Dutch, like the jump rope game. You're rocking back and forth, right? Waiting for the right moment to jump in, and it kind of validates that awkward feeling we all have and reminds us to wait for the kind of the rhythm to get into it. And that comes, I think it comes from episode 24 on networking challenges, which was June 5th, but it also might have been in episode 7. I don't know. There was some confusion by the panel, but it seems to be that it would be in the networking one. But anyway, Blanca, tell us a little more about your double Dutch. And
First, I have to say thank you so much to this esteemed panel of judges
yes,
that
yes.
vetted this. I'm sure it was ever so hard.
Well, we
Um,
keep them, we don't want any pressure on them, so we keep them very, very anonymous. Okay.
got it. Yes. So the double dutching metaphor was kind of like a riff that I said in the moment, but it did make sense. We were talking about networking and figuring out how to bridge the very important gap of active listening when you're in a networking setting, but also trying to get into the conversation. Because if you're a person who's outside the conversation, you don't want to be rude, you don't want to just dive right in. So it's that feeling of like, okay, what you're doing is you're waiting for the appropriate moment, you're waiting for a natural pause or a natural break in a conversation. And then you're also kind of waiting for something that you can really contribute to. Because if you're not in the conversation, you don't want to just jump right in to something that you're not really ready to contribute to. So it's like finding that really natural, easy, organic rhythm to bring yourself into a conversation. And then also, once you get in, like the game, you have to go, okay, I have my moves ready. Like, what am I doing next? You can't just get in there and then freeze up because you ruin the game. So it's like, once you're looking for those natural moments, then you also have to be thinking while you're waiting, what am I going to contribute to this conversation? How am I not going to stall the conversation? And then you also kind of don't want to take the conversation. Like you've barely been invited in, which you really kind of haven't been invited in. So you don't want to just jump in and insert your own agenda. You want to make sure what you're doing is organic and you're contributing something and moving in slowly and not just, taking over.
Awesome. Yeah, that it was it's such a good metaphor, and I've thought about it since then when I've been at things like that. When I start to feel that anxiety, I just start thinking, "All right, I'm just waiting for the moment to double dutch,
Waiting for the rhythm to hit you. You're just kind of
waiting,
like, okay,
waiting
okay,
till I'm in."
yeah,
I love it. Thank you, Blanca. I hope
you're
much luck
welcome.
to you. If you want to vote for Blanca, we have, you're going to put her name in there. Whether you're on LinkedIn, on YouTube, or here in the studio. All right, we're going to have, right now, I'm coming in with another award. So this is the Best Supporting Actor, Actress Award again. Yes, Jenny, I agree. A double dutch I can do as well. It's much easier in networking than the actual ropes are out. All right. So we have another award that I want you guys to guess if you're out there, if you're a big listener, like at least some of the people that are here as finalists are. We have, you may not know this, but there is an episode that is the most listened to episode of the first 100 episodes. The most listened to. Nobody here, except for me and Tatiana, know the answer to this one. Does anybody have a guess? And I will tell you that it is somebody who is a regular. Does anybody have a guess? Just put your answers in the chat of whose you think it might be, or maybe what it might be about. Because after the next tip, I'm going to announce who that will be. Very exciting. I'm very proud of this person. They have no idea. All right, here we go. The next finalist is a dear friend of mine who could not be here today because she's at the airport in a foreign country. But this comes from coach extraordinaire, Karina Chase. Karina Chase is a coach, an executive coach, a facilitator, an author, and she wrote her tip was called just plainly "Tell Me More." The simplest coaching tool in the world. When someone comes to you with a problem or even a weird idea, don't solve it. Don't judge it. Just ask, "Tell me more." It opens the floodgates, right? It builds trust, and usually they solve the problems themselves if they're talking about a problem. If you're concerned about it or you're not sure about your reaction, Tell Me More gives you time to pull yourself together, whatever it is. But that word of wisdom came from episode 33 on May 22nd, 2024. Called Elevate Your Leadership, Asking Better Questions for Deeper Conversations. Karina is a gem to listen to and learn from. So if you want to go back and revisit some of her wisdom, it is in that episode 33 on asking better questions. And if you want to vote for Karina, it's spelled Corena, and that's a good one for all of us to remember and know, especially anywhere in your career. All right, so thank you, Karina. I'm sorry you couldn't be here. All right, we're gonna go to Greg Shammy. Greg Shammy, are you there? All right, come on, Greg. Can you let him on the screen? Because we're going to talk about his tip.
There I am. Hello.
Greg, you have been on many episodes, like I said, like 17. Okay.
No, that's unbelievable.
17 and if you guys are doing numbers and you're like, we're already at 100 by the numbers that I'm giving, it's because two of them were on one episode, so they each got credit for it. So anyway, you were on like 17 episodes if my calculations are correct. Wow. And it cracks me up, the tip of all the wisdom you've given, the tip, this may be the lamest tip that the panel chose. Because I swear you've said a lot of really profound things, but this one cracks me up that this was the chosen one. Did you see it?
I saw it. And it is very important.
It is very important. So while all of you are talking about better bosses and jumping in on networking and having people ask deeper questions and spotting people through delegations, Greg's tip was, if you're presenting, never use a font smaller than 24 points.
Yes.
That's it. 24
it's
points.
Funny that it's described that way. However, I have to say I do, a ton of coaching on dynamic presenting, and one of the biggest issues definitely is too much content, and way too much content on a slide. And people put so much friggin' writing on a slide, and it's like it's dazzling. It's completely not dazzling. It drains me as an audience member when there's too much writing on a slide. So I remember taking a workshop with Guy Kawasaki, who was like the famous marketing designer. And he was like, he had a 10, 20, 30 rule, which is really interesting. 10 core concepts, or 10 slides max, 20 minutes max, and 30 font size minimum.
Oh, wow.
And so my 24 was definitely stolen from that, because I was like, it has to be at least 24. And, I do not want to be reading your slide. I want it to just visually make me feel good as I look at you, and hopefully I'm mesmerized by your presentation.
I love it. And this comes from episode 10, Unleash Your Presentation Potential, on December 13th, 2023. Congratulations, Greg. If you want to vote for Greg and his 24-point font, be sure to put Greg in later. Although I have to say, Greg, that was a ruse, because guess what? You're about to win a real prize.
For real?
And yeah, for real.
You know, the only reason I came was to hopefully win a prize.
Well, what you're gonna win is this jar of pure honey that's
Oh,
on my desk. Yeah, yeah.
well, it looks like you got that from a
I've,
nice bed and breakfast somewhere.
I've been saving this from some hotel somewhere to have in my tea, but I will give it to you. But what you are getting,
What's it
you win
for?
this. You win this, honey, not for the 24-point font. We don't know if you won for that yet. What you won for was you have the most listened to episode ever, and
What?
that, yes, on mastering presentation skills with Greg Shammy, which is like episode 9. So that Tatiana's coming on. Is there a
No, can
problem
I
with
just
this
say
win?
something? Yeah, no, no, no,
Yes.
no. I just want to
Okay.
say something funny about this. So at the beginning, what we would do is we would do kind of like a framework of like why mastering presentation was important, and then we would do the tips. So it's interesting that why mastering presentations is important, but then number 10, like where you give your tips, is not as high, right? So like
Interesting. Yeah.
so it's interesting that the tips isn't as high as the episode of like why you should master presentations. I just wanted to say that it's interesting.
Huh.
So
Yeah,
people go watch,
very
go listen to
interesting.
number 10 where you can get all the tips.
Yeah,
So go
so
back.
if you liked number 9, wait till you get to number 10 with things like 24-point font.
I mean, come on, people. This is unbelievable. Well,
Anyway,
thank you. I'm honored.
Greg, that's huge. Most
Yeah,
listens.
I can't believe the most listens. That's fantastic. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it myself and see what it sounds like now, because we did it a while ago.
We must have the entire country of Canada listening on your behalf, Greg.
Oh, Canada!
Oh, Canada. We're big listeners in Canada.
Hey, you hoser. Okay.
And actually, France. We have a lot of new listeners in France. So, bonjour, Francais, if you're out there. All right.
Oui. Okay. Au revoir.
Okay. Bye, Greg.
Merci bien. Bye, everybody.
All right.
I'll still be here.
There's just awards popping everywhere. Who knows, guys? We have still 5 more finalists to go before you can vote. And then we'll see. But I'm really excited to bring up our next person, our next finalist, Joe McFeeder from KeyBank. Joseph McFeeder, are you in the house still?
I am. I don't know why this is reversed.
We're seeing you don't be careful
How
what's
do
on
I?
your computer screen.
Yeah. Luckily, nothing good. How do I reverse the camera? Well, I'll just flip it like this. Does that
There
work?
you go. There you go. You clearly didn't win for presentation skills, but we see.
Definitely
right.
not.
Joe, I'm very excited to award you as a finalist. We'll see. You know, we're yet to see if you win one of the medals, but Joe's tip comes from episode 38, How to Thrive in Sales Through Rejection and Feedback, which was June 26, 2024. And his tip was to get better at sales and life, you have to build your immunity to rejection. I love that. Your immunity to rejection. Go out and intentionally try to get a no. Ask for a better table at a restaurant or an upgrade at a hotel. When you stop fearing the no, you become fearless in asking for the yes. Brilliant. Joe, tell us more.
Yeah, it's been a while since we revisited that comment, and
Yeah.
it's something I have lived for a while. I thought about it, and another part of it is the no only carries weight when you allow it to, and the weight you get to decide, right? The no can be an excitement to the yes that's behind the next one, and building that immunity, not letting it bother you, just asking for it, even when you expect it. Sometimes you get a surprise, and the more time in sales you get no's, it will lead to a yes. And I think everyone should try to challenge themselves once a day, at least, to ask for something that they're probably going to get a no to, because the more they do it, the less it's going to matter. They're not going to care if they say no. I firmly believe it.
I love that. I love that. It was one of I think I might have even said this in the episode because you reminded me of it so much. Those of you who are on this, in this room, you know the person that I'm talking about, and Louise, and Louise was great because an Irish woman who used to work with us at leadership, and the first time I met her, we were all still actors and stuff, and I went in and I said, "Where are you going?" She's like, "Oh, I'm going out to," I can't do her accent. "I'm going out to audition," and I said, "Oh, are you nervous?" And she said, "No, I'm just going to get my no." And I said, "What?" She goes, "Yeah, 50 no's and I'm bound to book one. So I just got to get my nose in so I can get my booking in." And I was like, that's an awesome attitude. So it's kind of like your version is that same thing, sales, right?
Yeah, ask for a discount. I'm going to go to my dry cleaner and ask for a discount right now.
Really? You should.
Why not?
You do a lot of dry cleaning. I love it. You're getting a lot of positive feedback in the chat right now, Joe. So you might be a contender here for this. But rejection is a muscle, and we want to work that muscle. And I love that building our immunity to rejection. Thank you, Joe McFeeder, for being here. Thanks for being on the first 100 episodes. And hold tight, man, because we have only a half an hour, less than a half an hour till the winner is awarded. So thanks, Joe.
Bye-bye. Congratulations.
Thank you. All right, we have our next person is Elaine. So Tatiana, I'm going to ask you to come on for Elaine, because I think Elaine is in Japan right now, so she probably isn't here, although she texted me this morning something totally random. But anyway, if you're out there, Elaine, hello, because she's our next finalist with the fingerprint grounding technique, Elaine Porcher. I just want to give a shout out to Elaine because Elaine was on 6 times, so she's in one of those high groups of people, so she's kind of our mindfulness guru. She knows she's a coach in positive psychology. She knows we are busy and we don't always have 20 minutes to meditate, though. So the tip is, if you are stressed in a meeting, that's right, look at Tatiana's doing it right now, take 2 minutes, rub your thumb and your index finger together. I think this comes from Positive Intelligence by Shiraz Shamid, and it's focused entirely, just try to feel those fingerprints, and you focus entirely on the feeling of the ridges on your own fingertips, and it immediately starts to calm your breath, right? Some people use box breathing, but sometimes that can be difficult in a meeting because you're counting and then you're not as present. But somehow this also with my teenagers,
and it doesn't take away. You can just sit. You can just sit underneath and just have rub your
fingers. And with my teenagers, I used to have my fingers around the steering wheel and get stressed out, and I would just do it there around the steering wheel. So why it works, it forces your brain to focus on a physical sensation right now, which stops that spiral of anxiety. Everybody can do it right now. You can do it under the table, no one even knows it. This comes from episode 15, Mastering Mindful Workplaces, Tips for Teams and Leaders, January 17th 2024. Thanks, Tatiana. Thanks for that demo. Thank you, Elaine Porcher. I'm sure she'll be here next time. She hates to miss anything, so hopefully she'll be around. Did Meher show up yet? Was she able to get in? Do we know?
No, she's not here.
Okay. All right. So for right now, can we get some more people can we get the whole crowd onto the screen before we get our last ones in? Hey, there's Bill. There's Blanca. I just want to give a shout out to all of the folks. Hey, Tom, and those of you who are out there listening, thank you for listening. We have some really exciting folks coming up in this next 100 episodes that we've already filmed, that we've already taped and filmed, and we're going to show them this time on YouTube. So if you guys come and guest, you got to put your makeup on, because we're going to be on we're going to have to be pretty for I love Joe's picture. Joe, you have to figure out how to turn your camera.
I took him out.
I love it. All right, so I just want to this is the guests in our first 100 episodes. Greg, Erica, Blanca, I told you had 13. Tom, you had like 19. Elaine had 6. Mark Taylor, Bill, we know Mark Taylor. Hopefully Mark Taylor's listening on LinkedIn. This is his time to be on there. Our coach and mentor at Vistage, Mark Taylor, was on. My husband Philip was on. He was very upset that he was not a finalist, and I explained that anyone who's related to me is not allowed to be a finalist. Anna Zaldarriaga, Lisa Donlin, Yindi Vatanavon Beckham with 2, Wendell Ramsey, Meher Rabbani. She was trying to get on, but she had a meeting with her boss this morning, so she was trying to see if she could get here, but we're going to do hers in a minute because she is a finalist. Megan Cross, Karina Chase, who we mentioned, Diane Cowan was on twice. Ingrid Emmerich was on once, Joe McFeeder, Jenny Greenman, who was on, but she had to run, Vince Waldani, Ray Vincenzo, I forgot Ray was on, Amanda Meeson was also on, and then I just wanted, Tatiana's always on, as well as our producer, Richard Francisco, which none of this could happen without the two of them. So, and then of course, Bill Bombrest, who you see here, and Joseph McFeet. Oh, I already said Joe, but Bill's also on. We're going to talk about him in just a minute. But let's go to Meher. So, any thoughts, you guys, so far? Any tips swirling for you? Any thoughts on what you've heard so far?
Well, there's definitely some that I'm going to use. I absolutely love the get as many no's as you can. And just trying to look at it from that perspective, because you get no's every day about dumb stuff. Can I park here? Can you do this? No, and you just take it and you kind of move on. So I like just trying to take the no's that you're going to get regularly and implement them for a higher purpose.
I love it. Yes. Snaps for Joseph out there. Tom, any thoughts for you? You always have something to say.
True. I was just reflecting on so many of the names that you mentioned are people that I have really learned skills from. Lots of people on this call, but also some of Amanda Meeson. She was my boss many years ago, and I learned from her the value of she would give me credit for things I didn't do when I was her direct report, as opposed to taking credit for things your team does. She did the opposite, and I was like, I'll walk into a burning building if you're leading the way. She was a really strong leader. So yeah, it was cool to hear that list.
That's great. Erica, I saw your face come up. You have a thought?
Oh, I was just thinking, I was marveling at the magnitude of the moment, and just the reminder that the best kind of leadership is lifelong learning. So that even if it's tips that we might have originally given, to hear them makes us listen and learn from them, so that it's an evolving and ever growing process. So
yeah,
it's just fun to listen.
Yeah. Thank you, Erica. We'll hear from you a little bit more too, because we haven't heard about your final thoughts. Greg Chammy, anything before we move to the next one?
Just loving it all. Specifically, what's resonating for me in this second right now is that episode 33, which I want to go back and listen to, about asking better questions. I love that. Tell me more. Erica was my direct supervisor for umpteen years, and she was the best at listening and asking me to tell her more, and she would just listen. And it was so helpful to have a boss who really was just there, present with you, and taking in what you were bringing. So that "tell me more" phrase is something super powerful to me.
I love it. Yeah, I think that is a good reminder. And Bill, you always have something to say too. You got something from Bombrest Advisory there?
I do. I have to say that Blanca has the best glasses I've ever seen.
That's right. Always.
It's nothing if Blanca doesn't get a fashion shout out, I swear.
Amazing.
Thank you. And these are direct steals from Yindi. I got these from Yindi.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Gotta give her credit,
I love it. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and give Meher's wisdom that she shared. So this comes from Meher Rabbani, and she is a HR. super woman, but basically she's the director of HR, and she says Meher changed how I think about mentorship. She says, don't just ask someone for coffee, right? Ask to see them work. So ask a potential mentor if you can shadow them. Say, I'd love to be a fly on the wall when you pitch that client. So she goes not just to ask them, like, can we get a cup of coffee and me pick your brain, but let me watch you actually work. So the result is you get to see if you actually want to be like them. It takes the pressure off, will you be my mentor question, and really just turns it into a learning moment. And I thought that was really helpful because she runs tons of mentoring programs throughout her life. And you're not always sure, right? When you ask somebody, can you be my mentor? But to really watch them in action, it's twofold. You get to see a lot of their character, but also a lot of their competence, and learn from even that interaction. And that's comes from episode 27, Mentoring for Leadership Strategies for Success, April 10th, 2024. Anybody have a particular thing that they want to add since Meher's not here? Anybody have a thought on that idea that's here in the studio with us? Maybe I have to call somebody out. Who haven't we heard from in a while? Joe, I know you know Meher. Do you have your camera fixed? Well, there's the tape dispenser.
Figure out. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
I can't even find the camera button. What is going on with this thing? This is like the worst app I've ever downloaded in my life.
Hello, Joe. Back.
I love that tip by Meher. I'm often asked by people, and I think it's great because it gives them the opportunity to spend a little bit of time with that individual, decide if they want to be like them, and it gives that person that was asked the mentorship or could be asked to have a little opportunity to evaluate that individual too and make it a little bit more vested interest. I think there's much more power from a mentorship where the two people know each other a little bit than just a blind asking.
Right. Yeah. I love that too. And Tatiana just came in to say that Philip's listening on LinkedIn. So hey, babe, thanks for thanks for your support. Maybe next year you'll become a finalist as well. Who knows? We'll have to change the rules. All right. The next one, we have two more before we have our voting. Yes, Greg loved your episodes. It was good. We talked about working 6 types of working genius. I love what Erica said. It's also a great display of the idea that our thoughts follow our actions. When in doubt, get into some kind of action. Yes. All right. Awesome. Thank you, Erica. And with that, I'm going to call Erica Petrelli by on into the stage because Erica, you are our next finalist. Bye, Joe. You can. Good. Hey, Erica.
Hey, Christine.
All right. You're a penultimate finalist.
It's very exciting.
It is very exciting. And you were on the most. So you had you probably gave the most tips of anybody overall. And this is the one that the panel chose, which was don't crush the wow with how. And Erica was quoting Harris the Third. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you are brainstorming, you have to let the dreamer breathe. If you immediately jump into the logistics of the realist or the critic, and she'll explain more of that in a minute, you kill the idea before it has a chance to live. So we need to stop saying no so fast and protect that wonder stage of innovation. And this comes from episode 25, Dream, Realize, Criticize, Innovating with Disney's Legendary Model on March 27th, 2024. Congratulations, Erica.
Thanks, Christine. I am so happy that this was the tip because this is such an important tip. The original context of it was in the explanation of Disney's creative brainstorming model, which is dreamer, realist, and critic. But it also works if you're looking at things like working genius or different stages of work, and that the very first stage, that wonder and that brainstorming stage, is often skipped or moved on from way too quickly. And so Harris III, who's a well-known author, speaker, magician, founder of Astoria and the Story Gatherings, based out of Nashville, Tennessee, said this phrase once, and I'll never forget it, which is don't crush the wow with how. Because too often we get into the how, which is the typical logistics of how are we going to make this great idea happen. But if we jump into that too soon, we haven't actually given the idea time to really grow into what it could possibly be. So protecting the wow, protecting that moment of wonder is such a critically important part of strategic brainstorming, planning, really any sort of innovating. So I love that tip.
I
It's
love
not
it. And
mine. I was just so happy to share it, you know?
you shared it. That's okay. You know, sometimes the what is it, the first follower, right? You also brought that wonderful YouTube example to us. But I think I just want to add another thing that I've been using with some clients that's kind of based on this a little bit, because if you guys, a lot of you know about the 6 types of working genius, and we do a lot of that, facilitating that. And one of the things that always comes up is for the wanderers, which frankly often happen to be founders of companies or the creatives of some sort, and they have usually hit a point of frustration where people really don't want to hear those wonder ideas after a while, because we get into such an execution phase, right? There's a lot of pressure, rightly so, on people to execute, and wonder massively slows down execution and confuses it. But it is an important part of what's next or of innovation. And so one of the ways that you can do what Erica's saying that I found recently is what we call a wonder window. And that is where you say, we're going to have a wonder window for 15 minutes where we're just going to wonder questions. No one's allowed to answer anything. We're just going to kind of wonder in this window, and it gives people like some boundaries to know that they're not going to be stuck wondering for the next 6 weeks, right? Or that we're going to then go to execute, and then our boss is going to bring us back into this wonder mode. And so if you can give people a wonder window at the very beginning of a phase of work or the very end, it can really help you not crush that wow with how. So there you
Amazing.
go. So if you want to vote for Erica, we're getting very close to voting time, people. And if you want to vote for Erica and Harris III, that would be Don't Crush the Wow with How. Thank you, Erica.
Thanks, Christine.
All right. And finally, our last finalist back on the screen, Bill Bombreast from Bombreast Advisory. Welcome, Bill. Is he still there?
Talking about.
Yay. Yay! All right, Bill, thank you for your patience. Here you go. Bill brought to us, he is our final finalist, our number 10, but he is not the last in our hearts. We hopefully will see more of him in these next 100 episodes. But he gave us what he called the golden equation. So this tip is: the guest experience can never exceed the team member experience. So you cannot expect your team to treat your customers like royalty if you treat your team like dirt. If you want 5-star service for your clients, you must give 5-star service to your employees first. It is, as he says, an algebraic equation that never fails. This comes from episode 28, Leading from the Heart of the House, with Bill Bombreast on May 7th, 2025. It is a fantastic episode. If you want to listen to it, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. And I also, Bill, I just have to tell you that, spoiler alert for everybody, but I have a book coming out in the fall, and you, Bill, are quoted in the book with this particular idea. So thank you for laying that tip on to all of us. Anything else? Can you add to this a little bit so people can get a taste of what you were talking about in this?
Yeah, 100%. But first of all, I just want to thank you. This has been such a good conversation. I love it. It's like all the goofy tech is great, and it's just a really thoughtful group of people that it's a privilege and a pleasure to be around all of you. And you know how much I love you and your energy and the way you show up in the world. So thank you for your service. So, I mean, this is just a very simple idea that really is like an algebraic equation, and it comes from my own life experience. You know, I came up in the hospitality industry where the most valuable thing is the guest experience, but that really translates across industry, and it's not just true in the hotel world or the restaurant world or the beach club world. It's true in all working environments, you know. And the customer is what it's all about, the guest in my vernacular. And the only way to really curate a great guest experience is to make sure that you treat the team as if they're your internal guests, because they are our internal guests.
Hmm.
And it's like it's just the old adage of bring what you want to get, you know. Gandhi said it best: be the change in the world that you want to see.
Yeah.
And so it's just an extension of that. And for me, you know, I was talking to a client yesterday that has a hospitality concern based in London, and she was telling me about well, we're just telling our story. This is what we grew up with. We're, you know, our lived experience is what we're sharing. And that was so beautiful because it really encapsulated what I'm trying to say with, and what I'm trying to do, how I'm trying to show up in support of what my clients in the world are doing, and how they're treating their teams. And also, I have to say, going back to Vince's idea, it comes from wanting to be a better version of myself as a leader and taking the responsibility for developing the people around me seriously. And because it is a responsibility, and it's a gift to be able to kind of give back in some way what's been so freely given to me by a lot of mentors throughout my career. And I've had the flip side too, where, you know, I've had leaders who have not treated me as if I was important or really valuable, and yet expected me to treat our guests and our customers in a way that was special and valuable. And it doesn't
Yeah.
work that way. It just
Yeah.
doesn't. So I'm just sharing with you and with your audience, you know, the things that have worked for me. And I, you know, I believe what I'm talking about. So it's easy for me to talk about this, and I could go on and on, but I'll leave it there. And just again, thank you and the rest of the participants. You have a great team, a great crew. I
They
know
are
why they've
great.
been on more than me. I know why they've been on more than me. So
You'll get
I
there.
appreciate it. And this has been a learning experience for me.
All right. All right, you guys, it is time to vote while you're voting. If you want to vote for Bill Bonbreast and the golden equation of the guest experience can never exceed the team experience, vote for Bill. So again, the folks you're going to do is you're going to vote for Bill. For that, don't crush the wow with how Erica Petrelli, Meher Rabini was the fly on the wall in mentorship. Elaine Porcher was the fingerprint grounding technique for mindfulness in the moment. Get your nose in. The rejection is a muscle came from Joe at Key Bank. Where is it? The spotter metaphor came from Tom Armstrong. Don't pick the job, pick the boss came from Vince Waldani. The double Dutch came from Blanca Winkfield. Karina Chase gave us Tell Me More. And then visual vitality, the 24-point rule came from Greg Shammy. So get your votes in the chat boxes wherever you are. Our secret panelists are are adding those all up. Tatiana, you're in charge of that. We need a third place, a second place, and a first place winner. But in the meantime, we have 5 minutes. That'll be announced in 4 minutes. In the meantime, I just want to say that while Greg had the most listened to episode number 9, we also had top 5 cities that listened. So Bill, you have any guesses on the top 5 cities? You got one? You want to guess one?
Paris.
Okay, I love that. I wish. No, it's while France is starting to come up, it is our top 5 cities were New York, Baltimore, Dallas, Atlanta, and Detroit. So interesting. New York, Baltimore, Dallas, Atlanta, and Detroit. We also had top 5 countries that listened. And I'm going to drop a bomb here. Are you ready for this, guys? The US of A is not one of the top 5 countries that listened. We apparently have more listeners in 5 other countries before the US. So anybody have a guess on what one of those countries might be? Greg, Shammy, you have a guess? Because I know this is killing you right now. This must be like this crazy, right? Canada! I love it. No, it is not Canada. It is not
Sorry.
Canada. Sorry,
The
yes.
top 5 countries, not including the US.
Oh, thank God. Okay. I misunderstood. This is why grammar and commas are important. Top 5 countries, not including the US. So the US hopefully is our top country. I'm like, wow. The other top 5 are the UK, England, right, Greg? Good one. Anybody else have it? The other one is Australia, Japan, India, and Germany. What? Amazing. So US of A is first, the UK, Australia, Japan, India, and Germany coming in next. The top episode we said was Greg's, but however, the top episode for repeat listeners, so people that go back and listen to it again and again, that, my friends, is Erica and Tom with a case study that happened in the summer of 2024. Summer loving had me a blast. Okay, I won't do that. If my kids are listening, they're like, no, she did not. But anyway, I just want to congratulations, Erica and Tom. You are the most, people want to listen to that episode of those case studies that we did in the summer of 2024 over and over and over again. So that's kind of cool. And then finally, the top city besides the US was London. So very exciting. All right. So we are now at 9:58, so we're about to give the awards, and I'm looking at my phone for the answers. So we are tapped. If you have not voted, one more second to get your vote in, and I'm looking at my phone, Tatiana, for the results of third place. Oops, what's happening here? Third place, we can see your computer, Tatiana. Do you mean for that to happen? I love that.
Yes. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I was organizing them. I'm sorry I revealed it all.
All right. So what is number 3, Tatiana? Maybe you could take down the computer screen so we don't give it away. Number 3 is the golden equation? No. Number 3 is what? You can announce it. Third place. And winning this third place bronze medal goes to... Go ahead.
You want me to say it? Oh,
yes, hurry
up.
The
golden equation, the guest experience can never exceed the team member experience.
And that's a bronze, yes?
A bronze, yes.
Yes, third place, Bill. Congratulations. We can't bring you up. Oh, there you are. Just keep them on. We can't talk because we're running out of time. Second place, the silver medalist goes to...
the double Dutch. Jump in when you're networking so that you can get in.
Blanca Wakefield, the silver medalist. And finally, the gold medalist. First place in the first 100 episodes. Who wins the Stepping In Award number 1?
Erica Petrelli.
Yes!
With Don't Crush the Wow with the How.
Yes, Erica, you and Harris. Yeah. There you go. You can share this with him. Congratulations to our winners. Congratulations to everybody. Thanks for coming so much. I really appreciate it. Thanks to everybody who's been on. I'm going to grab you to get on to the next 100. If you aren't listening, please listen to Step Into Your Leadership. We're putting it out every Wednesday. Lots of new fun guests this year. Thanks so much. Thanks everybody that's here. Erica, Bill, Tatiana, Blanca, Greg, Tom, Joe, McFeeder. Thank you. Karina Chase, Vince, Maher, all you guys that were listening out there too, Yindi, Jenny, and hopefully my husband and maybe my mom. I don't even know. She probably didn't, but whoever's out there
Jennifer
listening.
Williams.
Jennifer Williams, Berta. Thank you so
Berta,
much.
yes.
Yes, thank you guys. Thanks so much. Take care.